If you're selling print on demand on Etsy and watching your shop die, here's what's actually happening. Etsy has been deliberately squeezing template print on demand sellers off the platform for the past 14 months. Now, it started with a quiet rule change in June of 2025 that they never announced. And then came the listing removals, the traffic drops, and the shop suspensions that felt completely random. Now, full disclosure, my own e-commerce store uses a workflow that would fail Etsy's new test. I'll break down what actually changed, who's already been wiped out, and where the smart sellers are moving next. But first, let's rewind to June 10th of 2025. That is the day Etsy quietly rewrote its creativity standards page and deleted 7 specific words. Now, before that day, the policy said items on Etsy could be based on a seller's original design or use a templated design or pattern. But after that day, it just said based on a seller's original design. The or use a templated design or pattern language disappeared. And that was the whole change, just 7 words. But those 7 words are what half the Etsy print-on-demand business ran on. If you were buying SVGs from Creative Fabrica, Design Bundles, or Kittle, loading them into Cricut or a sublimation printer, and then listing those products as handmade, you were operating under those 7 words for years, and Etsy explicitly allowed it. Now, the most important part of the whole story is how Etsy made the change super under the radar. There was no email to sellers or big announcement on the blog, and nothing changed in Seller Central. Etsy just edited the policy page in the middle of a Tuesday and then just moved on. Now, if you've been selling on Etsy for the past 14 months and you had no idea this rule change happened, well, that's exactly the point. Etsy wanted it super quiet, and what happened next is a lot worse. So here's what made this change so damaging. Etsy silently changed the rule and then started enforcing it en masse. Within weeks of the June 2025 rule change, print-on-demand sellers started reporting massive drops in impressions and traffic on template-based listings. And then came the listing removals. If your listing was flagged as using purchase templates or clip art, it would just disappear from your active listings with no warning or explanation. And then came the suspensions. Sellers who kept relisting flagged products or who had a pattern of template violations started getting their entire shops locked. And once your shop is suspended, you lose access to your customer messages, your reviews, your ratings history, and your revenue. Now, by early 2026, Etsy added a whole new enforcement layer for AI-generated content. If you were running listings with AI-generated images without disclosing them, that became an active suspension trigger as well. Etsy pulled 12,000 listings in a single quarter just for missing AI disclosures. And the effect on the overall marketplace was brutal. Based on Etsy's Q3 2025 numbers, active sellers dropped 10.9% year over year to just 5.5 million, and active buyers slipped about 5%. A big chunk of those departures are the print-on-demand sellers that got quietly squeezed out over the past 14 months. Now, here are the types of shops that got hit the hardest. First up, straight print-on-demand. If you're using Printful, Printify, or Gelato to fulfill orders, and your designs came from a pack you bought instead of art you made, you're in the crosshairs. This is t-shirts, mugs, tumblers, hoodies, tote bags, anything where the design is printed on a blank product using a purchased graphic. Etsy has been pulling those listings very aggressively. Second are the Cricut shops. If your business is buying SVG files from Design Bundles or Creative Market, cutting them on a Cricut, and then selling the finished items, that entire workflow is now banned. It doesn't matter if you bought the file with a commercial license. If you didn't design the SVG yourself, you cannot sell the product on Etsy anymore. And then third hit was sublimation printing. Same story here. Sublimation shops using clip art packs to make custom mugs and shirts are no longer compliant. And then finally, we have laser cutting. The wave of wooden signs, home decor, and jewelry made from downloaded laser templates is being taken down. So if you bought the template, you can no longer sell the product. Now, the through line through all 4 of these is that Etsy is no longer treating the physical execution as the creative act. So cutting, printing, sublimating, or lasering someone else's design doesn't make the finished product yours. And if you didn't create the underlying artwork, you don't have the right to sell it on Etsy anymore. Now, for sellers who built their entire business model on buy templates, execute them, and sell them for a markup, well, that model is dead on Etsy. And the workaround most sellers are running to next is now getting cracked down as well. So here's where a lot of sellers thought that they'd found the workaround. Instead of buying templates, they just generate their own designs using AI. So Midjourney, DALL-E, ChatGPT, the idea being that if the AI generated it, it's technically an original design, right? Well, not exactly. Etsy's AI policy is more restrictive than most sellers realize. AI-generated products are allowed, but only under 3 specific conditions. By the way, if you're interested in starting your own profitable online store, make sure you sign up for my free 6-day e-commerce mini course below. It's 100% free, and I guarantee you'll learn a ton. First, you got to be the one writing the prompts. If you bought a prompt pack from another seller and just ran the prompts through Midjourney, Etsy considers that using someone else's creative work, which is not allowed. Second, you have to change your product attribution. If your listing used AI in the design at all, you can no longer check Made by Seller in the item details. You have to change it to Designed by Seller. This is a specific setting in Seller Central that most sellers have ignored. And then third, you have to disclose AI use in the listing description explicitly. If you use AI to generate the image, the mockup, the description, or any part of the finished product, you need a disclosure line that says so. And if you think that Etsy can't possibly enforce this policy, well, they're actually using AI to detect AI. In one single quarter, Etsy pulled 12,000 listings just for missing AI disclosures, so you can't really get away with it. And if you're not writing your own prompts, developing the concept, disclosing the AI use, and changing your attribution to Designed by, your listing is one flag away from getting pulled. Now let's talk about the one category where the rules are more forgiving than people think, and that is the one that actually hits my wedding handkerchief business personally. Machine embroidery is where I get to speak from actual experience because my own e-commerce store runs on embroidery, and we do get designs from Etsy from time to time. With embroidery, there are 2 separate things that happen. First, you have the design, which is the artwork or the logo that will get stitched. And then second, you have digitization, which is the technical process of converting that artwork into machine-readable files that tells the machine where to place each stitch. They are 2 completely different things, and Etsy now treats them differently as well. So if you go to Etsy and you buy a pre-made digitized embroidery file, and then stitch it out on your own machine and then sell the finished product, you are now violating the new policy because the design wasn't yours. But if you create the design yourself or you commission the design from a freelancer with a work-for-hire agreement, and then you hire a contractor to digitize it for you, well, that's completely fine because the digitizer is a production partner and not a designer. You just have to disclose all this stuff in your listings. Now, this distinction matters because good digitization is actually a specialized skill that takes years to master. Most legit embroidery businesses do not digitize in-house. In my own business, we use an overseas contractor for digitization because the skill required to convert artwork into a clean stitch file is way beyond our capabilities. So the honest read on embroidery is that the policy actually leaves room for real businesses to keep operating. It's the people buying pre-made embroidery files from third-party marketplaces who are getting killed. And that's a lot of people because Etsy itself is one of the biggest marketplaces for pre-made digitized embroidery files. Now, the takeaway across all these categories is the same. Etsy is now enforcing design ownership. Whether you did the physical production yourself or hired a partner is a separate discussion. Now, let's zoom out for a little bit. Why is Etsy putting itself through all of this? And why kill off a big chunk of your own seller base? Well, the answer is that Etsy's business is in real trouble. In Q3 of last year, gross merchandise sales came in at just $2.72 billion, roughly flat year over year, but with the core Etsy marketplace actually shrinking. Active buyers slipped 5% to about 86 million, and active sellers dropped 10.9% to just 5.5 million. And for years, buyers have been complaining that Etsy stopped feeling handmade. Search for anything on Etsy and you'd see the same designs repeated across dozens of shops, all sourced from the same template marketplaces. And the marketplace felt like a poor man's Amazon. Now, Etsy's bet is that if they kill off the template-driven junk, buyer trust will come back. Buyers who trust the marketplace spend more money. So sales grow again, and that is the entire strategy. And on August 11th of this year, Etsy is formally making the change. The templated design rules moved out of the creativity standards page and into the formal prohibited items policy. Kruti Patel Goyal took over as CEO of Etsy on January 1st of this year. She's been inside Etsy's world since 2010, including a run as CEO of Depop, the resale marketplace that Etsy owns. She's continuing the strategy the previous CEO started, which is to bet the entire company on authentic handmade. Now, whether this strategy works long-term is a separate question. What isn't a separate question is that thousands of small businesses that legit made money on Etsy are now collateral damage. Now, if you're one of the sellers hit by any of this, the question is what to do next. And the answer isn't to just pack up and quit e-commerce. The market for print-on-demand, custom apparel, and personalized products is bigger than ever. The global print-on-demand market is projected at $13 to $15 billion in 2026, growing at over 20% a year. So the demand is there. Etsy just isn't the place to sell into it anymore. Here are the platforms sellers are actually migrating to. Now, the biggest move I recommend is Shopify. Instead of renting an audience from Etsy, you own the customer relationship, your email list, and your data. There's no arbitrary policy change that can wipe out your entire business overnight. The downside is that you have to bring the traffic yourself, but for anyone doing real revenue on Etsy, this is the natural graduation. My store makes 7 figures per year, and it's based almost entirely on embroidery. Next up is Amazon Handmade. This is Etsy's biggest marketplace competitor and has more relaxed rules on template-based work. You still need to get accepted, and the seller experience is way more complicated than Etsy, but the traffic volume is much larger. Amazon Merch on Demand is the third option. For pure print on demand, this is the highest reach platform. Amazon prints and ships everything for you. You just upload designs. And the catch is that getting approved is extremely difficult and the payout per unit is small. For passive print on demand income with no originality requirements, look at Redbubble and TeePublic. These are the easiest platforms to get started on. It pays lower margins, but it's easy to get listings live. And for products that demo well on video, like mugs, tumblers, and personalized items, TikTok Shop has been growing incredibly fast and isn't going anywhere. Now, for machine embroidery specifically, if you're doing custom monogramming or personalization, going direct to consumer through your own Shopify store is going to make you way more per order than any marketplace ever will. Now, here's my honest recommendation. Don't just swap Etsy for another alternative. Diversify across 2 or 3 of these based on what you actually sell. If you're doing volume print on demand, that might mean Amazon Merch plus Shopify. If you're doing custom personalized products, that might mean Shopify plus TikTok Shop. And if you want passive income, Redbubble plus TeePublic. The winning strategy going forward is now diversification. Now, I've stated this many times on my channel already. You must start building an audience that you actually own. Otherwise, you're going to get screwed anytime a market changes their policies. So if you've been putting off building your own Shopify store because Etsy was working good enough, this is your sign. The window on print on demand as an easy Etsy side hustle is done. Now, if you want to see how I'd actually build the Shopify store you've been putting off, make sure you watch this video next.